Hi, and thanks for logging on to the daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Sunday, 26th day of August, 15th day of Elul. Now, the day of Rosh Hashanah, besides all the other many things that we say about Rosh Hashanah, it's the day when we're mamlich God, we accept upon ourselves God as our King, and that's the utmost feeling that we have on this day of judgment, and we humbly stand before Him. We don't do all of the, striking of our chest that we're going to do on Yom Kippur, which is much more the day of repentance. Rather, what we're doing is we're being mamlich, we're announcing over all of ourselves that God is the King. That's kind of the theme of the Rosh Hashanah davening. Remember, God doesn't need any of our praises. He is infinite. He is infinitely great, and He has no ego, and He doesn't need to be praised. We need to be praising God. It puts us in the right frame of mind. When we establish God as our King on the day of Rosh Hashanah, we are putting ourselves into the frame of mind that we are supposed to be in. That's the idea of praising God so much as King on this great day of judgment. He needs no praises, but we need to be busy feeling the feeling of God as our King, and the books of judgment are open, etc. Hence, the great stress on the shofar. That's why so much there are references to Rosh Hashanah as Yom Teruah, a day of blowing the shofar. What's up with that? Like, well, why are we tooting on this day? Because this is the day that we declare God as our King, and this day of Teruah, when we blow the shofar in front of God, is supposed to evoke that feeling within us. Now, we want to use a ram's horn. That's the best thing to be using on the day of Rosh Hashanah for the blowing of the shofar, and I'll tell you why. It's because, as we said several days ago, the great story of the Akedah is something that we want to make a big deal out of on Rosh Hashanah, because the story of the Akedah is where Avraham, our father, showed the willingness to sacrifice his son Yitzchak because God had requested it. God did not really want him to go through with it, and He stopped him right before he did it, but He wanted to have Avraham show the willingness to do that, to show that he was a great servant of God. And we evoke that merit for ourselves, the descendants of the great Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, on the day of Rosh Hashanah. Now, what does that have to do with the shofar blowing of the ram's horn? I'll tell you why. Because right after the Akedah ended, Avraham, who was so willing to go ahead with the sacrifice, said, "But God, I don't want to use the words on a roll, but like I'm in the feeling of doing exactly what you want. Shouldn't I go ahead with this?" And God was like, "No, no, I don't want Yitzchak sacrificed. It was just a test. But look over there. There's an ayil. There's a ram with its horn stuck in a bush." And that will be what you will really offer to me as a sacrifice. And so Avraham, instead of sacrificing his son Yitzchak, which God did not really want to happen, that was all part of the test. Instead of that, God showed his subservience. Avraham showed his subservience to God by sacrificing that ram who had his horn stuck in the bush, and so Avraham proceeded with that. So when we blow the ram's horn on the day of Rosh Hashanah, we are evoking that feeling again of we are humbly the offspring of Abraham and Yitzchak and Yaakov, people of great merit. We humbly, being their descendants, hope that we are deserving of your good judgment for us all, because we have the merit of being the descendants of these great